I recently learned a very interesting technique to get clarity on any problem statement. Open Notes app on your laptop and set a timer for 15 minutes. Title the Notes app, that page, with whatever the problem statement is. The problem statement could be, what do I plan to get a job? What is my next job going to be about? The problem statement could be, how do I get 100 marks in my next paper? It could be absolutely anything. And for 15 minutes, you have to essentially just jot down your thoughts. No matter how they look like, it could be rubbish, it could make sense, it could be anything, it could be diagrams, it could be absolutely anything. But in those 15 minutes, you'll end up realizing that you had the solutions all this while. You were just not willing to put it on paper. And I am going to invest in startups and I'm going to offer them marketing support for it. Very cool model, and I think that's when I jumped ship. I sold off the agency to him. He had already raised a few crores. He was setting himself up, and he was setting himself up for a larger fundraise. If I'm able to create an audio which feels extremely involving in it, then I can attract attention extremely well. A separate division of ours focuses just on creating organic content.
True.
And organic content has kind of become more like SEO. I think it's very important for anyone to figure out like what do they truly love and enjoy doing. I think that your purpose is now to figure out what you want to do not with the rest of your life, but maybe what you want to do tomorrow. What is something that will make you want to wake up at 5 a.m. and try doing it instead, right?
Hello viewers, this is Professor Guru Prasad. You're watching GIBS IRE Talks podcast powered by GIBS Business School, where we explore some real stories of innovation, resilience, and purpose. Well, in my opinion, and after numerous discussions with many of the guests at our podcast, marketing is something that I would say a game-changing activity. Especially, you could see this post-COVID and technological integration, digital marketing. This has really contributed, rather I would say, for elevating the businesses. And today, to deliberate and discuss on the same, I have somebody who has, I would say, had an incredible journey on this particular domain. And on behalf of all my viewers, let me extend my heartfelt welcome to Mr. Vyam, the founder of Marty Labs from Delhi, all settled in Bangalore. On behalf of all my viewers, I'm extending a heartfelt welcome to you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure all mine. Before I get into the subject, yes, first of all, very happy to see young chaps these days getting into entrepreneurial journey. How is life treating you?
Well, it has its own days, all sorts of days, bad and good, but it goes on.
It has to go on.
Yeah, it has to go on.
Right.
Yeah.
So, take us to your past. I mean to say, take me your journey in your school days. And the college days. The reason I ask this question all the time is that I want to know whether your entrepreneurial journey was an accident or it was well planned.
I think it wasn't an accident. I was a very average student back in school. I was always trying to get good marks, but I just could not figure it out. It was very hard for me to pay attention in class. I mean, I later got reasons on why that was happening, but it was very tough to pay attention in a class filled with 45 other students of different socioeconomic backgrounds, right? And teachers trying to split their attention, trying to keep everything in focus. I was getting average marks. Parents were pretty chill about it. They were like, hey, here's the thing. You get whatever marks you want. Just know that if you don't get good enough marks, we won't be able to afford your college fees, which means you might not go to college. Or at least those were the expectations that were set. They said, unless you're getting into IIT Kharagpur with computer science, hard to say that we will pay for your private education. And I was like, okay, challenge accepted. So I had a feeling that I want to do something that doesn't exist yet, because everything that was on the table felt very boring. So I lied to my parents and told them, hey, I want to be a journalist because I'm really good at writing.
Okay.
I had picked up writing very, very recently, around in 8th and 7th grade. Before that, my English was absolute, utter bad. When I slowly started writing, I used to write short stories. I used to go for these debates, and I used to go for these MUNs, right? I used to have fun there. Somehow, my mother was able to shell out the little money that was left after paying for my sister and my school fees, which was a lot. somehow was able to invest my time there. And then I told them journalist, and then both of them looked at me and they laughed quite a bit. They were like, journalists don't make any money. I was like, that is true. I'll be a different kind of a journalist.
But that's not right. They do make a lot of money.
Journalists, I think journalists do make a lot of money, but it's still highly skewed.
Yep.
Like for you to make money in any field, you have to be the top 1%.
Right.
Right. Otherwise, you end up making below average money, I would say, any industry that you end up in. Journalism just happens to have much lower salaries as compared to other industries, right? No matter, and the risk is far, far more, especially in a country like India.
So here was a choice for you between money and passion.
I mean, I did not know what either meant at that point. I was just trying to escape my father's clutches. That was all I was trying to do, because he was someone who has run coaching centers.
Okay.
And he has the thing about IIT Kharagpur was not because he wanted to see me successful. It's rather the fact that he has the roadmap. Because he's a Manipal graduate who has ended up working in large companies as an engineer, who ended up opening these coaching centers and has sent hundreds of students to IITs, triple ITs, and NITs.
Right.
Right. And that was the mainstay for most of the time. That's how our home's mortgage got paid off, right, in the first place. So he wanted to send me to an IIT, but I thought that this looks cool, but guess what? I don't think that I'll be a great fit for IITs because I'm not very good at sciences. I'm good with people. I'm not really good with theory, right? And after that, in 11th, 12th, I just ended up taking arts with maths. Maths because that was the only condition that if you're going to take arts, you have to take maths as well, which seems like a very weird combination.
It is.
And I think it helped a lot, because I ended up taking it as a challenge that, hey, and I failed most of my maths exams in 11th grade, I think, which is pre-junior college year for those who are in the South. And in my final year of my schooling, I think I ended up, at least in my specific section, I ended up topping it. I got a few marks and it was good enough. And then everything went well with board exams after all.
Right. Lovely.
Got into DU. First year was COVID. So first year was
not a great start.
First year was spent into figuring out.
Which course was that?
It was BMS, Bachelor's in Management Studies.
Okay.
I had an option between in English honors, in economic honors, and of course management studies. And I was also giving IPMAT, which is for IPM, right? I think for IIM, Indore and Rohtak, I was giving the exam. But then I ended up realizing that DU JAT and IPMAT had dates which fell on the same day.
Okay.
And I could not go to both centers for obvious reasons. I had prepared for neither of them. And did some math and realized that, hey, DU JAT has a lot better chance statistically for me to get a seat. And I just ended up giving DU JAT because I just wanted to be done with it.
Right.
I apparently got a seat via DU JAT. That was very weird. And then I had marks, but the marks from board exams were average. Like 95% in 2020 still counts as below average, particularly because if you want to get into something like St. Xavier's or you want to get into SRCC, you need 99.9, right? And that is something that I did not have. And I think I got into Ramanujan College, which was a relatively new college. A year of it just went into these online COVID classes, and we were just, most of the time we spent debating whether we should attend the classes, whether it will count as attendance or not. Everyone was aloof. No one knew what was going on. And that's how the first year went. During this time period, I think I ended up picking up a bunch of skills. I ended up coding in Python, just out of spite, because it's the internet. You can do whatever you want. I ended up doing a few courses on machine learning from Coursera. And I think after that period, I got an internship apparently for machine learning, where I was creating hate speech algorithms for a platform which was called Glue Labs back then. It doesn't exist anymore. And then eventually I did an internship at another company called Coup India, which was very big during COVID, and it was like the Twitter competitor for all the I think all the right-wing politics was based there during COVID for a good period of time. And it doesn't make sense to create hate speech algorithms there, but there was I. I just needed some cash for me to be able to buy more courses and do that.
Wow.
So I did that and went to college finally in second year, stepped in the first day. It was like, hey, it's fine. You have to go again and again for you to actually enjoy it, right? You have to go through the college experience. Not someone who socializes very aggressively. very, very inwards. I like spending my time alone. And on the sixth day, I realized that, hey, this is not going to work out for me. I have paid first year's fees, second year fees is also been paid off. It's just that second year fees I was able to pay from my own pocket because of the internship money I was receiving, and I was living at home. And on the sixth day of physically being in college, I had a little bit of a tussle with my HR professor. Now, this person is a very, very well-educated professor, but I'm a miscreant in her class. I'm someone who sits in the last seat who is typing mails. Because while I was doing these internships, I cracked a jackpot for myself, and I realized that apparently an entire industry exists which gives you 8% of someone's annual CTC if you place them. I was like, wait a second. And by this time, this is 2021, right? So I was posting very aggressively on LinkedIn. The moment I turned 18, I was posting on LinkedIn because I could join LinkedIn. And Gary Vee was extensively saying that you need to get on LinkedIn. This is back in 2020. And in 2021, I had built a little bit of following. So I went to my few followers on LinkedIn and I told everyone, hey guys, don't you think that interns should be paid more than 10,000 a month? They were like, yeah, they should be good interns. I will get you great interns if you pay them well. They're like, sure. Slowly that torpedoed from placing interns to placing marketers to placing tech talent. I ended up building an agency around it, which was purely around placing talent in the crypto industry, which was growing back then quite aggressively. Of course, it still feels like a fraud. Back then also it used to feel like a fraud, but people were hiring people who understood the blockchain.
True.
Ended up placing a bunch of them, made a lot of money from that. And
so all these happened without serious intervention in your education.
Yeah. Because and this was the fight that I was about to have with my HR professor because I was running an HR agency and she was she told me that, hey, what are you doing? I know you're doing something else in the back. I'm like, okay. My best friend looked at me and he's like, you know what? After the class, just tell her honestly everything. I'm like, okay, I do that. She tells me that she looks at me. And then she tells me outside of the class that you're wasting the seat you're sitting on. And that pinched a bit. I was like, okay, I'll just get off from it. And then I stopped going to college after that because I think I had made plenty savings from running the HR agency. And I had worked with some very, very large companies, including companies who created the NFTs for Amitabh Bachchan. I had worked with one of the largest exchanges in India, which was coined DCX back then, still is the largest exchange.
DCX.
I had placed engineers there and it was an operational role. I understood the caveats of it. I understood that if you create distribution, if you're able to market both the supply part as well as the demand bit, and you somewhere collectivize it, you create a Discord community, you create a community where all these people are interacting with each other, you can charge people maybe not 8% of their CTC, maybe 4% of their CTC. You're undercutting existing recruiters and you're still making a lot of money. And I think that's what I did. That was my first business. And then after a year, I just grew bored of it. I was like, this is fun, but do I want to do it for the next couple of years? Probably not.
Yes.
I want to learn more. And I think that was it. And during that time period, while figuring out the transition from the HR agency to a marketing agency to a PR agency.
What happened to your education in between?
I just stopped going to college in between. I just like, hey, this is not This is not helping me at all.
So you decided to drop out yourself?
I mean, I tried looking for options, but apparently there is no easy way of dropping out of DU. There's a lot of documentation and
exit process.
But apparently no one responded to my mails. I actually went on Twitter and asked about it. I got a lot of likes on that tweet, but no one really helped me out there. So I just stopped, and I think they considered me as a drop. I think in those 6 months of deciding what do I want to do now from the HR agency, I decided that maybe I should just visit Bangalore once. I visited Bangalore once in 2022, early 2022, and
so that was your first entry.
Yeah,
to
that
Bangalore.
was my first. June 2022 was the first time I stepped in Bangalore. It's been more than 3 years now, I think. I met a few people. They were doing very interesting things, and they really like. For the first culture shock when I realized when I came to Bangalore was that no one cares about age. They don't care that if you are you're at 19, 20. They don't give a shit. They're like, hey, this is great. Doesn't matter if you're able to deliver outcomes to us, we will not judge you and we will pay you fairly.
Makes sense.
And during that time period, I realized that maybe me writing on LinkedIn might be the main skill that I have at hand. And I ended up deciding that maybe I should try ghostwriting services for founders. And I'd do that. That turns out to be another company. And I had like about 6 people. No offices, of course. I didn't know the concept of an office. I had about 6 people who were on my payroll, and we were writing for all the way from cricketers, right, to can't name them for NDA reasons, and all the way to CXOs whose companies were listed on the Bombay Stock Exchange, all the way to we wrote for this person named Toshan Tamhane. He was the youngest global senior partner at McKinsey. And one by one, I just found it easy that, hey, I could write stories in this particular way. I could figure out what life experiences are worth sharing in a certain format that could become their own specific format. And we could just keep pushing content, and whatever reach that you could purposefully buy from Outlook and all these media outlets, right? At a much cheaper cost, you could just pay us a retainer and we could take care of it. And that's what we did for quite some time, I think almost a year. When I think in the 9th month, I started speaking to another individual who has been noticing me for a while. I had been in touch with him. He was the number 4 at this company called Akshaya Kalpa, right? And he said that, hey, I'm leaving my company. I'm starting a new company. Would you like to come? Like, okay, what is it about? I am going to invest in startups and I'm going to offer them marketing support for it. Very cool model. And I think that's when I jumped ship. I sold off the agency to him. He had already raised a few crores. He was setting himself up, and he was setting himself up for a larger fundraise. And he's like, I'll need your help in the fundraise. Like, I don't know how to raise funds. I have no idea. He's like, it's similar to what you've already been doing. It's about making noise, letting people know what you're going to do, and asking them if they would like to chime in. We did that. I played a crucial part in the fundraise as well. We raised a significant seed round, and it was a lot of angel investors who were looking for further like alternative investment vehicles. And we basically were an alternative investment vehicle. We were like, hey, we go to a startup, we ask that startup that, hey, would you like to take this money, give us a larger equity share, and in form of this equity, we will want to earn further more equity based on this idea that we will take care of everything marketing. Companies agreed. We worked with them. We worked with a bunch of startups. We worked with on their PR and communication angles. But I think I left that place a year into it, and then I started my current organization, which is
So that's
Marty
where
Labs.
Marty Labs came into the picture.
Yeah. Marty Labs is like, after doing all of these things, I just ended up realizing that I'm really good with videos. I'm able to tell a story very visually. Like, writing is fine. Like, I can write well, but if I'm able to write well and connect the visuals accordingly,
Right.
if I'm able to create an audio which feels extremely involving in it, then I can attract attention extremely well. So yeah, I think that's how Marty Labs came into the picture. And now we're working with large brands. We're building IPs. We're making TV commercials. We are using AI quite extensively as compared to a year back. And yeah, that's mainly
What's the
it.
team size of Marty Labs now?
Right now we are about 15 people. We before the AI, for example, in the last, I think at our peak we were about 40 people, but we pivoted away from cameras to quite a large degree because it was in my like, I just really wanted to go out there and use AI as much as I could.
Right.
And that's when I decided, like, maybe I need to reduce the team size and make the machine a lot more efficient.
True.
And I wanted to do things which I enjoy, which was making ads.
What was the initial challenges or hiccups that you faced in the Marty Labs?
I think initial challenges about just making people believe in your idea, that you're doing something different, because I'm in an extremely saturated industry.
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of the belief that came from other people was either through the personal brand, which I'd already built across on LinkedIn and Instagram. But rather, by just telling my story, I had to also tell them that what is it different about me that you should join me for.
Correct.
Right. And turns out that bit was first principle thinking and intuitions around how content should be made rather than how content is already being made.
True.
And showed them some results of previous companies which I had worked with, and they felt like, okay, great, and went into it. But the biggest challenge that I think I realized was understanding and learning the numbers, both on the financial side as well as on the client side, and understanding what outcomes truly mean. And I think that has been the biggest challenge so far. But learning, I think almost 3 years now into the journey, it has, like, I've truly understood how to manage all of these things together, how to properly make a margin out of a business. Because for the longest time, I didn't believe in making a margin. I felt that the machine must go and the machine must keep churning out content. But it turns out that's not a great way to run a business.
So you feel the evolution that we are seeing in the AI and so many other things won't hamper your business?
No, actually, it has opened up the industry. For example, a creative agency who wants to make TV commercials, right? For example, you must have seen Nissan Cup Noodles, right?
Yes.
They're making a TV commercial for their northeast region in India, right? For any creative agency to make a TV commercial, well, you have to be, by standards, been in the business for the last 6 to 15 years for you to be even remotely considered for a position like that.
True.
Right? But now what we are seeing is that you can reduce costs quite significantly with AI. So instead of spending, let's say, 30 lakhs on a TV commercial, you spend about 7 lakhs on a TV commercial. You don't compromise on the quality. You reduce your turnaround time quite significantly. You don't compromise on the storytelling bit, right? So while yes, like you can say that hey, AI is eating up jobs, and it's also elevating, it's democratizing the industry quite aggressively.
True.
Right. So that time period from 6 to 15 years has come down to maybe 2 to 3 years and good work. So yeah, that's AI.
Great. So where do you predict the future for Marty Labs?
I think I would much rather prefer keeping the team extremely lean and small. I would rather populate it. I don't want to build a shebang. I don't want to build a Dentsu. I know that I'm a creative guy. I'm not a business guy. I'm aware of that fact, right? I want to create a very, very lean, multidisciplinary team of extremely sharp individuals who understand how a brand is built from scratch.
Right.
And they're able to essentially take small brands and they're able to take big brands alike, and they're able to generate attention at a cost which is a fraction of paid media spends.
True.
Because if you want to get attention of the masses, you can use paid media, you can run ads wherever you want.
Yes.
But even that cannot help you in today's day and age. You have to truly resonate with the audience at the end of the day. And what we're doing is without ads. Like a separate division of ours focuses just on creating organic content.
True.
Right? And organic content has kind of become more like SEO, right? So I think like we'll continue to probably operate in single digit customers, and we will keep picking them up time to time, the ones that we want to work with them for a few years, build their brand, and quietly move out as they build their internal teams and set up their systems, right? That's where I see. And in terms of me and all of this, I just want to create great media IPs that I'm known for. And yeah, I think that's more or less it.
Have you ever thought of exploring global opportunities? Have you ever thought of crossing your national borders?
I think I have, but like it's very hard for, like, for example, for me to actually cross borders. Like I know, like I would like to, right? But do I understand any other market? No. Do I have rich friends living in the MENA region or living in Los Angeles? I do, but would they want to run agencies? Probably not. Right? They're more like tech product, building their own tech products. Right. So, and it's very hard for you to go into like an alien market with an Indian face and be like, I don't understand your market, but give me a chance. What you rather require for that is like, you need a white face, or you need someone who's already living in the Middle East for the last several decades.
Right.
Right. And I think it's something that we will consider in the next few years. But for now, I think India is a large enough market for thousands and thousands and lakhs of agencies to exist within. And everyone gets to make their own meal. So true. I like Indian market a lot. Never thought about going abroad.
Yeah, I mean, the size, the volume is very huge.
Yeah.
You can tap all of it.
The market is maturing quite quickly.
Right.
As compared to, I think, the last 3 years, the market is like, the quality of talent has increased by a far a lot. And brand managers are now doing their jobs a lot more better. They're finally looking at the P&L of a company. They're finally asking the important questions, and they're finally looking towards further new methods than the already existing methods to be able to crack attention. And at the end of the day, attention is everything for a brand today.
True.
So yeah.
You definitely did mention about the way forward for the Marty Labs. Can ask you about you in person. Where would Mr. Vyam love to say himself 15, 20 years down the line? Because it's a very young age. You have got what you wanted. So I'm really interested to know what lies ahead.
I think money is easy to make. You can always figure it out.
Yeah.
Right. If you're smart enough, you'll probably find gaps in a market, and you'll be able to deliver quality services or products in that market, and you'll make money out of it. I want to spend the next 5 to 10 years first solving for that. making a large enough bag, and probably keeping some money aside for myself. And I probably see myself, like, after all of this, getting into teaching. And
Giving back to the society.
yeah, just not maybe giving back to the society, but more like
What I actually meant was,
like I would
the
also,
knowledge transfer.
yeah, knowledge transfer, definitely 100%. But I feel like, I think after all these years, I would not like to run a business. Right? It gets very exhausting very quickly. So yeah, but more than that, my goal is to be able to identify all in throughout this journey, by keeping the team lean and creating media IPs,
True.
is to figure out what opinions do I really care about to spread out there, because
Correct.
I understand that I can crack attention bit. But when you can crack attention bit, the question to ask is, what do you want to spray out there, right? And amongst all this, I want to build large enough media IPs. I want to capture the general public's imagination. I feel there are a lot of issues within our society that we don't see coming yet, but they will be there with the advent of AI in the next 5 to 10 years.
True.
So I would like to kind of spend my time shaping the public opinion there.
Yeah, lovely.
And hopefully become a teacher after all.
Great, great.
Yeah.
Your parents have seen your journey throughout. They've seen you as a kid who was not that studious in his school. They've seen you dropping out of the college. They've seen you doing amazingly well in your journey right now. How it has been for them?
I think scary. Because for the outside world, I think it's always the good days. I try to keep my financial positions, how well am I doing in the business side, to myself as much as possible, right? But time to time, as it turns out that I am using the family CA after all, no? So there are bad days, and they do get to see bad days, and it's scary to see like large sums of money being moved around left, right, center, right? And that gives them an idea that not all days are good, right? So it's been a roller coaster ride for them as well. What they have provided, like, firstly, they did not know that I dropped out of college. In my second trip to Bangalore, I told them that I'll go there for a week and I'll come back, I promise. I decided to move there, right? And they knew that I had the funds to support myself and all that, because I had saved up extensively. But yeah, it's been a surprise, because I truly did not know how they would react. And to my surprise, they have been extremely supportive. They have been individuals who, because my father has been an entrepreneur, right, for majority of his career. So they are extremely supportive, and they understand that running a business is not easy. But if you truly have the grit and the know-how, and you have a decent enough service, you'll probably crack it.
And they're super proud now. I'm very sure about it.
I mean, I don't like to throw around the word proud. I feel like it's a word. Yes, it's a great word, but I feel like there's much more to do in life than at the current stage I'm at. I would like to do a lot more, and then be like, hey guys, are you proud yet? Is this fine? Is like 100 million views, 1 billion views? Is this fine? So after that, probably, yeah.
Another biggest challenge always is when you have a sibling who is doing extremely well, very studious. So I was discussing with you off camera. So I got to know you have a sister who's like a doctor, a very studious. Were you ever compared?
No, my parents made sure that never happened.
Fantastic.
They were extremely liberal. Even though I come from, I think Faridabad is no longer a small city. It used to be quite backwards. Let's say 10-15 years back. So my sister is someone who studied medical with maths. She gave both the JEE and as well as the NEET exam.
Okay.
Right. And she ended up doing her MBBS and everything. And I think she was always winning in school, right? But my parents were like, it's not everything.
It's not everything.
They told her that, hey, we're proud of you, but they never told me that you have to get marks for you to become a great person. I think that played a huge role, right? And they gave me quite a lot of information about what life lies ahead of me for me to make my own decisions, right? Like my sister, she's still studying. She's 27. She's still studying, and they're like, fantastic, keep studying. And I am here and I'm speaking to you right now, and then I will tell them about GIBS, and they'll be like, okay, do you want to take admission there now? But no, they never compared. They always ensured that line was always there. They always ensured that creating sibling rivalry never helps anyone. At the end of the day, it only abolishes character and individuals, right? So they made sure of that. They've been amazing parents.
Fantastic.
Like, extremely thought-through parents.
Very good.
So, yeah.
Maybe this question is too early to ask, considering your age. Any regrets?
I think I should believe in karma. I recently started believing in karma because I think there were bad financial times when I had to lay off a lot of people because margin wise the business was not making sense, right? When I had to pivot into a different direction, right? Um, and as I routed myself through that journey, I ended up realizing that one, I need to plan with my entire team together rather than planning in a silo.
True.
And instead of treating each person individual, I need to treat people like a team and deal with them as a team, right? And care a lot more about them than I have in the past because just I used to use this excuse of being a very inward person, that I'm not a very outgoing person. I can talk to someone, I can do sales, but I can't really connect with someone emotionally. That was something that I'm wrong about. I can if I try to, right? So that changed my perspective about life. That made me want to believe in karma. That if you do bad to others, bad will come to you inevitably. So yeah, that's one regret.
And that has given you a lot of lessons already. I'm sure you're working on it.
Yeah.
Good. I mean, there are a lot of budding entrepreneurs, the future of tomorrow, watching you. Any tips and suggestions for them?
I think it's very important for anyone to figure out like what do they truly love and enjoy doing, and if you don't know, that's completely okay. Like it's completely okay to not know what you love, but sitting on it and not executing on not knowing what you truly love is a crime, because you've been like the chances of you being alive is less than what 1 in 2 trillion, even less than that. You're alive. You've won the lottery. I think that your purpose is now to figure out what you want to do with not with the rest of your life, but maybe what you want to do tomorrow. What is something that will make you want to wake up at 5 a.m. and try doing it instead, right? Figure that bit, and I think everything else in life sorts itself out. Yeah.
Great. Wonderful. I mean, the best part is, you get to learn something very practical. The whole idea of starting a program, you can name, IRE, we call it as Innovation, Research and Entrepreneurship. This is a subject which goes beyond the textbook and syllabus, right? And the whole idea behind starting such programs and podcasts is that, you share your real life experiences, which no other textbooks will tell you. That's the beauty of such programs. And our students and the viewers tend to take a lot of inspirations from people like you. I'm sure they will inculcate. I want to see a lot of Vyam coming in the near future, right? So on a personal note, it's always gives me immense satisfaction to host a young chap like him, because you guys carry a very unique and different mindset, which is very much required to, I would say, for 2025 and above, and the Gen Z or whatever next level of generation you call. This is the mindset that I want the audiences, the students to develop in them, getting out from a traditional educational typical setup and framing yourself and having a clear vision. See, what I really liked about you is you're very clear in what you're doing, and you're very, very clear in terms of the future that you want to see. In terms of Marty Labs and in terms of Mr. Vyam, you're very clear. This is what I want to achieve. That clarity of thought, I think, is missing in most of the young chaps today. And interaction like this is always eye-opener.
I recently learned a very interesting technique to get clarity on any problem statement. Open Notes app on your laptop and set a timer for 15 minutes. Title the Notes app, that page, with whatever the problem statement is. The problem statement could be, what do I plan to get a job? What is my next job going to be about? The problem statement could be, how do I get 100 marks in my next paper? It could be absolutely anything. And for 15 minutes, you have to essentially just jot down your thoughts. No matter how they look like, it could be rubbish, it could make sense, it could be anything, it could be diagrams, it could be absolutely anything. But in those 15 minutes, you'll end up realizing that you had the solutions all this while. You were just not willing to put it on paper. And once you do, you'll be forced to execute on it, and that will give you clarity. Yeah, I think that works very well.
I would definitely vouch for this point, and I'm very sure the team has made a note of it. And let's see, I'll practice also. Sure. This is a very interesting one. Great. I would say this is another exciting session at IRE Talks podcast. On behalf of all my viewers, extending my heartfelt thanks for your time.
Small pointer can I add to that?
Please, definitely.
We see legends like Oppenheimer, the father of the atomic bomb, and we see Einstein. The thing is that these individuals had these ideas for decades and they sat on it. until one evening they were on a walk and they decided to just jot it down. So everyone has great ideas. You just have to sit yourself down, set up a timer, set up a deadline, and get it done. So I think that helps a lot.
Let's wait for that moment then.
Yeah.
Great. On behalf of all my viewers, thanking Mr. Vyam for his wonderful interaction and the time. Pleasure hosting you today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe us in all our social media platforms, GIBS IRE Talks Podcast, GIBS Business School. Do follow Vyam and LinkedIn. And as I always say, you get to learn a lot of things about the textbooks and about the syllabuses. For now, this is Professor Guru Prasad signing off, and thank you for watching.